We are going to work on layout number 2 of the Skylark Bring Back Your Pack special. As I said in my previous video, I am changing these up a little bit. I am following the instructions semi-closely as far as some of the papers they're using, the cuts and things like that, but I am doing some change-ups because they're a little bit too busy for me. These papers are beautiful, but for me, the boho chic get a little bit too busy for my tastes, and I want a little bit more white space. So we are going to be working on layout number 2. And layout number 2 compared to layout number 1 for me was definitely much more busy. Not only are the papers combinations busy with all of the textures, but I didn't feel like I needed to have the solid papers, the solid toffee papers on the lower half. And so I decided to simplify this a little bit. I am still using the 6-inch strip up at the top of the left-hand side, and I'm using the 6-inch strip of the limeade paper on the right-hand side, but I am changing it up slightly. So I am going to use the zip strip, but I am not going to cut the zip strip in half. I'm going to leave it the full length of the zip strip. The other thing that I'm doing is I am adding a piece of toffee as a border strip on the right-hand side. So I'm still bringing that toffee in. I'm just bringing it in a different way, and not doing what used to be called wallpapering. I'm not wallpapering. I'm not putting pattern paper or paper everywhere on my base pages. And I'm starting with a white daisy base page. I'm not starting with the toffee base page. So again, these are just some things that I'm changing because of my aesthetic. And you can certainly make these pages exactly the way that they're described in the instructions. And they're beautiful that way if that's your aesthetic. So again, I just want to show you how you can change up something that is coming as a workshop to you and make it your own style. A few of the other things that I did change the color of the mat on this left-hand 3x3. This was shortbread, and I felt like it blended in too much with the background of this paper, and I wanted to bring the green over, a little bit more green over, even though it's in the zip strip. I wanted to bring a little bit more green over into this upper left-hand corner. The other thing I did is I switched the side of the mats that I used for the 4x6 photos that are in these down here at the bottom. It says to use the light side of shortbread. I use the dark side. Again, because I am on white, I wanted a little bit more contrast than the light side of shortbread, which is what you see in this piece right here. The last thing that I'm going to do, and this is going to add a little bit more textural interest, is I am going to take a look at using the stencil again on this and strategically placing it to just have a little bit of these flowers showing. So the reason I want to do that is, again, the white can be a little bit stark, right? I want to add just a little bit of interest, but not too much. I don't want to overdo it. So what I did is I did a dry layout of where all of these pieces go. And then I am looking at where are my white spaces and what do I want to do. And so one of my thoughts is I might want to continue this this pattern across the bottom half. So I'm looking at it going, okay, where can I put this stencil where I can just add a little bit of definition or connection point between the left and the right side here in the middle. And then how can I add just some splattering of these flowers coming out from these photo places that are here. And so that's going to be my next step, is I'm going to take a look at that, and we're going to do some stenciling. I am going to use the limeade again, just like I did on the first one. So we're going to pull that out, and we're going to pull out our blending brush for limeade, and we will then get going for doing the stenciling. Similar to what we did on the last layout, I've actually just left the pieces, the larger pieces on this layout, and I've aligned my two pieces, my left and my right, because again, I'm looking to have the stencil sort of cover both pages of the layout and look continuous. I'm going to take some of my scratch paper, just binder paper, or copy paper, I guess is the right word, and I'm going to put that on top of my patterned paper here, just because I don't want any ink right there. And I know that this is going to be covered by a zip strip, this lower half, so if I get a little bit, I'm okay. Again, I'm just laying this down. I know that my photos are going to be in these specific areas that we had laid out, right? So I've got my photos. I kind of know where they are placement wise. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lightly add some of the stencil with the limeade ink. Now, I am going to go very lightly. I did a little bit of an ombre before. Again, I'm going to get my paper out because I want to soften this up. So I'm going to just quickly load up my brush, but I'm going to take a lot of ink off. And then I'm going to come in, and along this edge, I'm coming in a circular motion, and I'm going to just come in and I'm going to just lightly touch down this edge. And remember, I told you when we did this the last time that there is more ink transferring to your paper than you think there is. Okay, it is deceptive when you are putting this down, how much ink is actually going down. And so it's really important that you lift up and you see if you have enough or not. And I need a little bit more down here at the bottom. And it's going to be kind of hard to see. This is a really subtle amount of inking that I'm doing. Okay, I am not doing very much at all, but I do have some coming through, and it may not show very much on the camera. Again, I'm going in, grabbing a little bit more ink, dabbing it off, and then I'm going to come in kind of up this edge up here where there's going to be some white space. Again, checking to see if I like the depth of color that I got, coming back in, and I'm kind of creating a vine sort of up the side. Then I'm going to come over here in this section where I know there's a gap between the two photo placeholders, and I'm going to add some in here. And again, I'm going to check that and see if I need a little bit more, and I think I do. So I'm just going to add a little bit more here. Again, I want this to be super subtle. I don't want this to be too dark. I'm not going for a super dark look per se. I am going to just do a little bit more color here to balance out what I just did over there. Okay, I'm okay with that. And then I'm going to lift my stencil up. I'm going to take a look, and then I'm going to move it over to this side, on the other side of that photo placeholder. And I'm going to just add a little bit of interest in a couple of spots over on this left side. And then I'm going to do the same thing over on the right side. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing over here on this other side. So I'm going to just move some stuff around. Again, I'm going to put my paper down, and I'm going to bring my stencil over here, ink it up, tap it off, and just do a little bit down this right side. Again, don't want too much, and I think I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so then I'm going to go clean off my stencil. Like I said before, you want to clean off your stencil so that you don't transfer ink the next time you use it. And you can use a baby wipe, or you can use just take it to the sink and wash it off. All right. Okay, so now that we've done that, there's actually one other thing that I need to use that ink for, that limeade ink. And that is for one of the pieces that was used on this is a white banner right here. This, I think, was from the sticker sheet. I can't really tell if it was or it wasn't, or if it's just a piece of cut white. I didn't see it anywhere in the instructions. But when you put these together, it's better to have two, and especially because you have a sticker on top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and make that. And I'm going to make that using the stamp set, which isn't used on this layout. The stamp set hasn't been used on this layout at all. I could actually use the stencil and just stencil on it as well, but I thought that I would use this border to create this this textured piece that's going to go on the left hand side. So I'm going to just move this over, pull out my ink again, and I'm going to go ahead and pull out my stamp. Remember, when you're stamping, you do want to use either the back of your Versamat, or you want to use the foam that comes in our stamps packaging. That's used as a cushion, and it helps make sure that you can get a nice clean impression with your stamp. All right, so I'm just pulling out my 1x6 block, and I'm laying my stamp on that. I'm seasoning it because I haven't used this stamp yet. So again, seasoning it, you can rub it on your skin, you can use a rub and remove eraser, or you can just stamp it a few times on a piece of scratch paper. I don't need this to be very big, so I don't need that much. And I'm going to actually take a look and see if I like second generation or first generation. So I actually need to get this to be more on the stamp pad here. So that's first generation. That's the first time you stamp it. And that's second generation. I think I'm going to do second generation. And the reason I'm saying I want to do second generation is I don't want this to be a heavy color, because the other strip that we're going to put on has that dark limeade. So I want this to be more muted as a color. So I'm going to use second generation. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this up. I'm going to come over here, make sure I get a good stamp down, and then I'm going to come over to my strip and stamp that in second generation. And it is hard to see. You're not going to see it very much. It's just a little bit of detail, because this, when you stamp in a light color, second generation is very light. But that's all I want. I want a very light color there to go with that other strip. And then the last thing we need to do with that is we're just going to cut this down and dovetail it. So just taking our scissors, I'm going to just cut this strip right here. And then when we get to assemble, we'll figure out how long we need that. All right, so those were all of the prep steps for the most part. And so now we're going to do the assembly part, and then we can have some fun with our embellishments. So again, the assembly of this is really quite straightforward. We're just going to, starting on the left-hand side, we're just going to put this piece up here at the top. And we're going to grab our zip strip. And I didn't cut down the zip strip. I think I mentioned that before. So I'm using the full zip strip. And the zip strip does have a directionality to it. So on the left-hand side, I want to make sure that the arrows are pointing towards the right-hand side. Again, this is an indicator for your eye to move from left to right. And we're going to put that down just right underneath this piece of patterned paper. It's being difficult and lining up. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and work on the right-hand side. I know typically you don't do both sides at once, but because I have everything sort of prepped, I'm going to do the setup on both sides. Get all these big pieces put down. And same thing, we're just going to line this one up with the top and the bottom of the right-hand side. And again, you can rotate your paper if you're having a hard time, which I am with this one. So I think I'm going to rotate this paper so that I can get this lined up better. Don't feel like you have to keep your paper in one direction when you're doing your assembly. Got off just a little bit. This is the hard part. All right, that looks good. Okay, then I'm going to put the zip strip down. And this one I want to make sure that I've got it perfectly matched up with the other side. So that's why I'm going to lay these right next to each other, line them up, and then I can adhere my zip strip down. Oops, got a little adhesive there. So I want the arrows, again, in this case, to be pointing towards the middle. Same idea, I want this to look like they're pieces that are together. They're going the same, they're pointing in the same direction towards the middle. All right, that looks good. And then I'm going to take my toffee piece, and this toffee piece is not 1 inch. This toffee piece is 3/4 of an inch by 12. So if you're going to follow mine, this is the one piece that you would need to cut separately. That is not part of the cutting guide. And I'm going to lay that right up against the green pattern paper there. And now we've got our pieces all set. Katie's instructions, she has a flip flap on this left-hand side where we have some paper layered together, and then we've got a 3x3 photo that's going to go there. So we're going to go ahead and assemble that next. So I'll go ahead and move these guys out of the way so that we don't have as much distraction. And we'll go ahead and assemble this. So it's really simple. It's just taking that toffee piece and adding this lagoon strip at the end, at the bottom of it, I mean, like so. And then she, again, cut her zip strip in half. I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to just go ahead and put the whole zip strip on. You can choose to cut it in half and make a 1/4 inch instead of a 1/2 inch, but I was fine with how it looked as a 1/2 inch. And then I think I switched out this mat. I think she used a white mat here, and I decided that I was going to use what is this? Shortbread mat instead. So I went ahead and did that. And then we will adhere this to the right of this, leaving about a 1/2 inch from the right and a 1/2 inch from the top and bottom. Okay, so that's going to go into our flip flap that's going to go on the left-hand side. All right, these two photos are going to overlap each other, is the way that Katie has designed this. So this one I actually do want to be careful of, in that I don't want to put adhesive where it's going to overlap these photos, because then I won't be able to slip photos either here or on this side around around those pieces. So I'm going to just put some adhesive down the middle here, but the first thing I'm going to do is adhere this one for placement, and this one's going to go straight, and I think I'm going to make sure I don't go, I think I want to keep it in line with this one. And then on this one, I'm going to just put a piece of adhesive down the middle. That's all I'm going to do. And this one's going to go at an angle. And by doing that, now I can slip my photo in here, and I can slip my photo in here. And this will still stay. It's not going to go anywhere. And remember, it's also going to go in a photo protective thing, so I don't need to worry about that. All right, so now we are moving on to embellishments. So the first thing I'm going to embellish, I've kind of pulled out a majority of my embellishments out from the die cut sheet and from the sticker sheet. So again, the die cuts here, we have a bunch of different die cuts. I'm going to pull out this banner here because that is also part of the part of these. So again, all I did was take out the ones that matched the instructions, and that way I could just not have to go back and forth between that. And then the same with all of the stickers. I pulled them from the sticker sheet, and then I'd use my anti-static pouch to take most of the sticky off so that I could just put them in a little container and I can start working with it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to work on this piece here and finish it up. So this piece has got, it's crooked, I can tell, I'm going to have to fix that. It's got the little camera, and it's got some of the journaling strips. So I'm actually going to fix this before looks like I had the piece of paper at an angle. So we'll go ahead and just fix that. You're able to fix things with the Tombow adhesive as long as you don't let them sit for too long. That's the important thing, is don't let it sit. If you've made a mistake, you can usually rectify it fairly quickly. All right, so in my little box here, our little container here, I've got the camera, and I think the same problem I had with the first layout I have with this layout, in that I don't think that this shows up enough. So I'm going to grab my toffee ink. I'm going to grab my dome tool, not my blending tool. I'm going to do my dome foam tool, and I'm going to go around and I'm going to just darken these edges a bit to give it some more depth. And again, I'm holding it in the middle. These are fairly sturdy pieces, but I don't want to bend them. Whoops, I think I just got some ink on my hand. One of the hazards of paper crafting with ink. So again, I'm just trying to add some depth to this camera. You could color it too if you wanted it a different color. Maybe if you wanted it black, you could certainly do that. And we'll put that away. And now I think that is definitely going to show up a lot better on this toffee background, because the colors are so similar. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're just going to put this down. So I'm going to grab the medium heart, and I'm going to put that right over the center of that piece. And then we're going to grab some of our journaling strips that we used the last time, and we're going to put some of those down on this piece before we move on. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab, I think I'm going to grab the thin ones this time. And what I want to do, I think we'll cut right there, and we'll put 3 strips on. So I'm going to just pull these off. And I am going to overlay a little bit onto the mat on one of them, I'm going to stagger the next one to the left and then stagger the next one again to the right. I think we're a little low. I think I want to go back. I think I want to go up higher. So let's do this. Let's start under the camera. I think it'll be seen better up there versus trying to write on that zip strip. Do that. And then stagger this one a little bit. And then I think Katie only did 2. I'm going to do 3. And then we've got that piece ready to go into the flip flap. All right, so we'll put those aside. Actually, let's go ahead. We're just going to go ahead and put this in the flip flap. So the flip flap is, remember, we've got a pocket opening and we have a adhesive strip. We want to make sure that the pocket opening is on the back side. This piece is going to be the back side of it. So you're going to want to put it in, and you always test this before you actually adhere it down. Okay, you always test this. So I need this folded. My pocket's on the back side. This is folded. It's going to go down like this. And when you lift it up, it's upside down. That's why you test. So now we have to go in and we have to flip this around. We need to flip it so it looks like this because you don't want it to be upside down when you lift up the flip flap. And this is why I always test before I actually adhere my flip flap or do anything. So pocket to the back side, adhesive part down, flip it up, it's going the right direction. The other thing we want to do is we're going to just put another photo placeholder in this to indicate that there would be a photo that goes on this other side of the flip flap. So this is one of the beauties of the flip flaps, is that you get to add all of these extra photos or stories or information by using flip flaps. So again, it's going to go like that and it's going to flip up. Okay, so actually I want to put this flip flap down before I put the photo holder down. And actually, I really want it behind this piece here. So I'm going to just gently lift this up so that I can put this flip flap underneath. I don't want to see the adhesive and the mechanism that is the flip flap. I want to hide that. So when you're planning, just make sure that you're thinking about that before you start adhering things down. So again, I'm going to just slide this underneath that photo placemat. Be careful, it's a super sticky adhesive. So you don't want to get it down before you're ready. I'm just folding it over, making sure that that all looks good, and then I can press down. Okay, and I can get that. So now I'm not seeing the mechanism, but it actually just works. Just looks like a piece of the layout. All right, so let's go ahead and let's embellish this piece right here. And again, just looking at what Katie has, she's got these 2 dovetailed pieces. She's got Sweet Memories, Cherished, and a little sticker of the bird. So we've got Sweet Memories. Oh, dog hair. Sweet Memories, Cherished. We've got this banner, the little banner that we actually made. Ah, here it is, the banner we made. And we need the little sticker that is the bird. There it is, this little green bird right there. Okay, so those are all the pieces that are part of this here. All right, so Cherished is just, I'm going to just put this down. And again, I did take most of the sticky off of this so that I could put it in my little bucket. It does overlap the photo a little bit, so I want to make sure that I don't put any adhesive along this left-hand side. And I want to make sure that it's hidden under the flip flap. Sweet Memories is just going to go above that, and I am going to use a piece of foam tape for that. And I'm only going to put it, again, it's going to overlap, so I don't want to use a big piece. I want to just put a little bit to the right-hand side of the Sweet Memories and towards the middle. So didn't make that quite long enough. So we'll do, there we go. So we'll put that down, and then we'll put our two banners and our bird. So again, these two are touching. You don't want things floating, so make sure that you're touching things. Okay, so this, we're going to use the full size of it, but the other, the white one that we've got the light stamping on, we want to cut shorter. So I'm just putting this down so that I can sort of measure where I want it to be. And I'm going to just cut that because we're going to dovetail it here in just a second. So we're just going to cut that. And then we're going to dovetail. Dovetailing, you find the center, you cut up, and then you cut in to the center from the sides. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can also fold the paper. But this way works for me most of the time on small dovetails. All right, so we're going to lay this down at the top, like so. And the edge of the other banner makes it look better, I think. Actually, I think I'm going to change my mind. Usually I like that look, but I think I want a little bit more of that dovetail to show. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and put this little bird, and we are going to put it up on a small piece of foam tape as well. So the other pieces we need to do are the embellishments here on the left and the right. It to be. And I'm going to just cut that because we're going to dovetail it here in just a second. So we're just going to cut that. And then we're going to dovetail. Dovetailing, you find the center, you cut up, and then you cut in to the center from the sides. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can also fold the paper. But this way works for me most of the time on small dovetails. All right, so we're going to lay this down at the top here. And again, I am coming in because I don't want it to show on the outside of my flip flap. And then we're going to add this. Like so. And lining up the cut with, I think we're going to go the other direction now that I look at it. Lining up the cut center with the edge of the other banner makes it look better, I think. Actually, I think I'm going to change my mind. Usually I like that look, but I think I want a little bit more of that dovetail to show. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and put this little bird, and we are going to put it up on a small piece of foam tape as well. Just like so. All right, so now that's done for that embellishment. So we've taken care of this whole embellishment piece. So the other pieces we need to do are the embellishments here on the left and the right. And looking at it, okay, so we've got the bird and the flower, and then we've got the flower and the flower up there, plus we've got some dots, and we've got some of the sprigs. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the bird and the flower, and I'm going to place it a little bit differently because I didn't move my photo placemat over to the right far enough. So we're going to come down lower on this one, and we're going to add adhesive. Just make sure I'm in frame so everybody can see. We're going to add adhesive to the lower half of this bird. Because again, we're going to be over that photo. And so I don't want to have any problems getting my photo on when I do that. And I'm just trying to decide if I want this popped up. I actually am going to change my mind and I'm going to pop this up. So we're going to put some adhesive down here on the bottom to pop it up. And then this piece is going to tuck behind it. So this is just going to get some adhesive. So we'll put the bird down, and then I'm going to put the flower to the right of it versus to the left. And like that. And then we have the, let's see, let's put this underneath. I think I want to put these guys underneath. And because it's on white, I don't feel like I necessarily need to put, I need to add the extra color that we did on these pieces up here. Okay, so that embellishment is done. So now we're going to come up to this upper corner and we are going to go ahead and I don't really think I need journaling strips here. So Katie had journaling strips here at the top. I think I'm going to just add some journaling strips up there. But I am going to grab the embellishments and we're going to go ahead and embellish this upper corner. And I'm just going to make sure I'm grabbing enough embellishments. It looks like I didn't pull everything out that I was going to need for this. So let's go back in and we're going to grab a couple more things. I need the arrow for this side. So we're going to grab that. And we'll leave that out because we're going to play around. Again, all I'm doing is trying to follow Katie's guide here. And she's got some of the, looks like some of these guys, looks like she might even have a flower. So I'm just trying to see which embellishment she's using. She doesn't really call out on the instructions. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out these guys. And we'll use these guys. And then, oh, I see what I did. She didn't use an embellishment. She didn't use this piece down here. She used it up there. We're going to just go with it. It's fine. She used that. She used this. And then she used one of the little flowers again on here. This one we're going to put up on foam tape. This is going to help us with some dimension here. And we're going to go right there. Okay, and then we're going to add on our little flower or little leaves, and I'm putting the adhesive just on these. I am doing it on the all-purpose mat so that I don't get sticky on my actual layout, which is why I like to work with my all-purpose mat, have it ready and use it. I also have an all-purpose mat that I cut down, which also is quite helpful to use, so I don't have to use the big one, or I can just slide out the smaller all-purpose mat when I'm ready to use it. All right, so we're going to do that. And then we have a sticker that I missed, Epic Story. I'm going to pull that guy out as well. And we're going to take some of our journaling strips now and put those down. So I'm going to use the larger journaling strips again on this, and just looking at it, I think I'm going to take that. Here, let's do that. Let's start with that one here, like so. I'm going to take the short one up here so I could put like a date on it. And then let's cut this guy. I'm just eyeballing this, guys. There's no rhyme or reason for it. I'm just sort of eyeballing where I think I want things to go. The nice thing is I do have these grid lines, which I did not use and I should have, to make my journaling straight. So I'm going to gently pull this up so I can at least try and get something straight on my layout, because that certainly was not it. I've got these nice lines. It's good to use them. When you're given lines, you should use them. Okay, so then I'm going to put that one there. And then Katie kind of has Epic Story. And Epic Story is popped up on foam tape. So I'm going to just take the adhesive again off of the back of this, grab a piece of foam tape, put on there, add that there. And then we're going to take another journaling strip. And then let's see about this size. How big do we want that one? Okay, so I think we're going to come to here. Oops, I may have made that one a little bit too long. Up. Okay. And then let's do one more here. Maybe two more. And maybe let's get one longer one. All right, I think I like that. I think that looks good. All right, so now we've got a bunch of journaling that we can do there. And we're going to go ahead and add this arrow. But again, I'm going to take my toffee dome foam brush, and I'm going to add some toffee ink. Again, I'm just using what was already on there. I haven't even opened up the toffee pad, just because there's still ink sitting on there, so I can go ahead and just use that on this piece. Just trying to get into those corners. And that's pretty good. Okay. Again, this is going to kind of go over the picture. So I'm only going to put adhesive on the pointy part of the arrow so that I can slide my picture in. I think I want it right about there. Okay, so the next piece that I need here is this little banner piece that has the heart in it. And that's going to go up here at the top. And we need a couple of hearts. So just seeing, oh, there are two hearts here. Okay, so we're going to get, I think we're going to use one of those hearts. Let's see, we'll use, let's just see, I think we'll use one of these hearts. Again, I'm going to add some color to it. And then we're going to use the enamel hearts as other accents. Okay, so get considered that. I'm going to put that heart here. And then we're going to pull these guys out, and we're going to just add some of the lagoon pieces around. So we're going to go ahead and put one there. We'll put a smaller one over here. Let's go ahead and put one here. Yeah, I think that's good. I think we'll just leave it at that. Yep. Okay, so the left-hand side is done. We'll slide that out of the way, and we'll bring the right-hand side in. The right-hand side, we have a bit of assembly work to do on the statement or the title here. So Katie has you cutting a piece of Sundance and putting the title on the Sundance. Now, I actually did use the anti-static pouch, but there was enough sticky left that I could get this to sort of stay in place but not be adhered adhere it sort of temporarily, because what we need to do is we need to cut out these notches. And so I've done the notches for 3 of the sides on the top, or on the shortbread. And so really all it is going in and giving yourself about 1/4 of an inch border and just rotating the paper as you're trimming out that notch. Okay, so that's all you need to do, but you also need to do it on a lagoon piece because she's got this double matted. So you need to do it not only on the shortbread piece, but you need to do it on the lagoon piece as well. So I'm just double checking that I've got this. And really, I don't need the sticker on here anymore. I can just use the template that I have. So this piece is on the cutting instructions, but Katie hasn't marked it as the sticker mat. So this is 4 1/4 by 3 3/8 piece of lagoon. So I am going to go ahead and adhere this down to the mat, and then we'll do the cutting. Just trying to get it even. There we go. And we're just going to go in, and again, we want to leave a a border while we're of this cutout. If you have a punch that's this size or kind of looks like this, you might be able to use a punch. I don't have that, so I'm going to just do my best at this freehand cutting. Here we go. Okay, one last side. Okay, so that's all done. Get those pieces off to the side. And then we're actually going to take this sticker off and we're going to put it on 3D foam tape because it will look nicer popped up. So go ahead and do that. Ooh, I think I just cut myself. Hazards of trying to work fast. That should be good enough. And I'm not bleeding yet, so gotta watch that because I'm pretty sure I cut myself. Don't want to get any blood on our project. Okay, so now we're just going to try and get this centered in those cutouts, and then we can adhere this to our page. This is going to be on the right-hand side. It's going to be sort of here in the middle. I feel like that, okay, yeah. So we're going to put this sort of here in the middle, like so. Like that. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do is we need to get our other flower sticker. We're going to do that. We're going to get this leaf spray, and then we've got another one of those little flowers. We're going to grab that, and we're going to put those down here at the bottom. Again, using some foam tape on the big to pop it up and give it some dimension. And then the other two pieces are going to go down just flat. And we're getting close to being done, folks. We're in the home stretch. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this down here. I'm going to go ahead and add some color to this leaf spray. Again, I probably could re-ink because I'm getting a little bit low on my color. Let's grab that. Get a little bit more color here. All right, that should be good. Don't need that much. And slide that in. Then let's put some adhesive on this. And then down here on this lower right-hand side, we're going to put a sticker. We're going to put the sticker that says the details, and that's going to go sort of right here at the bottom. Again, this is just going to get adhered straight down to the page. No pop-up. So the details here. And then we're going to grab our other arrow that we got from our die cut sheet, add some color, and adhere that right above that, like so. Okay, so then the last thing we're going to do is add our journaling strips again, and we're going to add our journaling strips here at the bottom, or at in this section here. And I've got a couple of short ones that I think will work really well. So we're going to put those on. I'm going to stagger them a little bit. And then I've got another one that I'm going to make a little bit longer. And doing a little bit of staggering for interest. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's probably good. Then I'm going to come over and add, oh, I found another heart. I did punch out a heart. Okay, so we're going to actually go back and add this small heart over on the left-hand side here, like that. And then we're going to grab that other big heart that we had here, and we're going to put that here. And we are going to grab our hearts, and we're going to grab the bigger heart here, and then the smaller heart next to that. Oops, a little too crooked. Don't like it that crooked. Well, it's going to stay there. It's stuck. Remember, we're going to grab another little heart up here. We are going to grab the last little flower piece here, and we're going to stick that down just flat up here by the, just trying to decide where I like it. I think I like it in that space, and I actually want to pop it up now that I'm looking at it. So let's pop it up. Oops, don't want to see the foam tape. Pop it up right there. And I think, you see that Katie has a couple more things here, but I don't think I'm going to do those. Okay, so the last flip flap is a flip flap that goes here on this piece here, which I probably should have put down as well earlier, but we'll go ahead and add that here. So again, where is the opening? And then adding your pictures. So this one I just put one of the photo placemats, but making sure that you've got it going the right direction, taking off the adhesive protector, and then in this case we're just going to lift the photo mat itself because we can just slide it under there. And just make sure that you don't stick it down too hard. Went down a little bit too far. Once you get the photo, these what are they? Flip flaps down, really pushed down, they're almost impossible to move. So that's why you want to be careful that you double check where the placement is before you actually adhere it down. That looks pretty good. Okay, we're gonna go with that. Okay. All right. So we have our completed layouts. And just making sure that everything is in frame so that you can see it. And hopefully you can see just some of the differences, obviously, that I made. I added some stenciling at the bottom to lighten it up a little bit versus having the heavy, darker toffee paper, but I did pull in the toffee on the right-hand side. The toffee is also on this photo holder piece as well. We added toffee to the edges of some of the embellishments just to make them pop. And we have popped up a number of things on foam tape, but we have room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 photos on this 2-page layout. And we've got plenty of room for journaling. In fact, you can add even more journaling strips down here to add even more journaling. I just didn't do that. So hopefully this was helpful in thinking outside of the box from the instructions. If you liked this video, please feel free to hit the like button down below. And if you would like, I would love to have you as a subscriber. I am trying to get my subscriber numbers up this year. That is my goal. And hopefully you've enjoyed this video enough to want to see what I come up with next. I will be doing the 3rd layout in this series, so please come back and join me for that one. Have a great day, everyone.